What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, we are launching our first video of a 4-part series on how to shiny hunt every single Pokemon in the Pokedex for the base game of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. We're finally here with the very first episode, and this episode is going to cover the first Pokemon to the 100th Pokemon, and each episode is going to be 100 Pokemon. Now, of course, guys, you find this to be incredibly helpful, enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and consider joining the Pan Fam today by hitting that join channel membership button below. So to begin here, we're going to have some great tips that you should do before shiny hunting any of these Pokemon, as it will make it a lot easier for all of the hunts, or some specific hunts for sure, but I recommend doing all of the following shiny hunting tips. Now, there's a couple things you want to do before trying to shiny hunt every Pokemon in the game. Step 1, you're going to want to get the shiny charm. You get the shiny charm by catching all 400 Pokemon in the game. And some of them are version exclusive, so they're going to be rather difficult. But you can catch these, of course, by going online and doing raids, or going online and doing mystery trades, or going online and doing certain trade codes to get certain exclusive Pokemon by trading your own exclusive Pokemon for them. My second tip is to get a Masuda Ditto. Now, what is a Masuda Ditto? Essentially, it's a Ditto that is a different language than the game that you're playing in. So as an example here, I have a Japanese Ditto. Now, if this Japanese Ditto breeds with any of my English Pokemon, I'll be able to get an additional shiny roll. It doesn't need to be Japanese. It can be Chinese, Korean, Italian, Spanish, German, whatever languages are covered in the game. As long as it's a different language than the Pokemon I'm breeding with, then you're going to be good to go. So Japanese Dittos are pretty sought after, or just any Masuda ones. And this is pretty much how you're going to be doing the starter Pokemon, right? So my Fuecoco's in English, and then we got this Ditto right here, then we're going to have a higher chance of getting a shiny Pokemon. Now, how do we get a Masuda Ditto? We're going to follow the trade code on the screen here, and the code is going to be 448448, and you want to trade a Ditto of your own game with someone else's Ditto, and you'll be able to see in the trade screen if they have a Ditto of a different language or not. Another tip is to have a level 100 Pokemon that has False Swipe. False Swipe makes it so the Pokemon that you hit it with will only go down to 1 HP. You'll never actually knock it out, which makes catching a lot easier. So I just recommend False Swipe with something like a Gallade or a Breloom. What I like about Gallade is it has the moves Thunder Wave and Hypnosis. However, Breloom has Spore. So you can make both. It's easy to make both of these Pokemon, and you get the move False Swipe from Jocks when you're completing your Pokedex. And lastly, we're going to be needing a lot of sandwich materials. So if you go to Lavencia, you can actually find every single sandwich material here. So going from the back Pokemon Center, this shop sells food materials. And then up the street from the Pokemon Center, this shop sells a lot of the materials as well. And then when we go across the town here, from the other Pokemon Center at the entrance of the town, there's 2 more places right here, one to the right and one over here. And this is going to give you pretty much every single food item and picks that you'll need to make your sandwiches for these upcoming shiny hunt. Now, our first hunt here is going to be the Gen 9 starters, which is going to be Sprigatito, Quaxly, and Fuecoco. And they're all going to have the same method because you can't catch them in the wild. You have to breed for them. Now, we already have a Masuda Ditto here, and you don't need a Masuda Ditto, but I do recommend using some sort of Ditto. And as already mentioned before, Masuda Ditto is going to be a Ditto of a different language than the Pokemon that you're currently breeding with. And I'm using all English Pokemon here. So now that we have our Ditto and we have our starters, we're going to go to the Psychic type gym city here. You want to fly to this Pokemon Center, and you want to go exactly where I am right here, and we're going to walk into this restaurant. Now, the second menu item on this restaurant is going to give us Egg Power Level 2, and this is going to be the fastest and cheapest way to do this. So we're going to get Egg Power Level 2, and this is going to give us a higher chance of getting eggs from our picnics. And now that we have Egg Power Level 2, we're ready to start a picnic. Now that we're outside of town, we can set up a picnic, but there's one thing we want to do first. You want to make sure that you have a empty box, maybe 1 or 2, so the eggs will go directly to the box. And I actually recommend guaranteeing you're setting up the box by putting 1 Pokemon in there and then moving them out. This will guarantee the eggs will go into this box. So in this case, I have Ditto and the 3 starters. The best way to do it if you're targeting 1 starter is just to use one of the starters and then Ditto. But if you want to hunt for all 3, you could potentially go for all 3 starters at the same time with the Ditto. So now that we have everything set up, we're going to set up a picnic. And all you have to do now is just sit and wait. There's going to be a picnic basket in front of the table here. And we're just going to sit here and we're going to check this about once every 45 seconds. And there should be a couple of eggs. And every egg that we get in here is going to go to our PC box. Now, this sandwich boost is going to last for a whole 30 minutes. So we're going to be chilling here for a while. And then we're going to fill up our box. And then you're going to eventually hatch your eggs. And as you can see here, we are just sitting here and there's a Pokemon egg. And the picnic basket can hold up to 10 eggs at once. So I don't recommend AFKing and like leaving for a long time because this will fill up. And now that we have our eggs, what we're going to do is put the eggs into our party, which I've already done. We have 5 eggs in here. And you want your Pokemon in the front to be a Pokemon that has the ability Flame Body. Some examples is Larvesta and Volcarona. You can also use the Talonflame line as well that has Flame Body. And there's a couple of others too. The reason why you want to do this and with the egg power on is because it decreases the amount of steps you need to take. Now, there's a couple of great places to run around. I know people don't like running around this city because it can crash your game pretty easy. But I do recommend going maybe to the normal type city gym over here to hatch your eggs. That's a good spot. Or you can go to Lavencia as well if you want to run in this big circle. I've been using Lavencia a lot more recently. There's also the small circle in the middle of Lavencia as well, which is pretty easy to do too. So there's a lot of good spots. You just don't want to do it in an area where it's like there's wild Pokemon where you can encounter and then you'll get into battles and make the whole process a lot slower. And there we go. Our first egg is going to hatch. And the shiny animation is going to be really easy. It's going to have a bunch of sparkles appearing. So you'll know for sure if you do hatch your shiny. But you can see the images on the screen here to see what each starter shiny is going to be. Unfortunately, no shiny for us, but good luck on hatching the shiny starters. Our next spot is going to be for Lechonk and for Oinkologne. Now, we're going to be south of Mesagoza right here, and you want to be pretty much in between Los Platos and the south of Mesagoza right here. And we're going to be using a normal type sandwich, which you can see on the screen here. And of course, encounter power level 3 with Herba Mystica will further increase your shiny odds. Now you can see we have a bunch of Lechonks already. It is not an isolated hunt in this area. However, it's a pretty good walk around hunt. Luckily for us, we got pretty lucky and we already have a shiny Lechonk that appeared for us. There is a male and female difference on Oinkologne, so you want to make sure that you get both a male and a female Lechonk. Of course, you can do this via mass outbreak. Now to reset your mass outbreak so you can make a Lechonk one appear, you need a normal type sandwich. And then you need to reset your outbreak by going to your system settings, going down to settings, and then go to date and time, going down here and just hitting OK, going all the way back to the home screen, and then you'll have new outbreaks appearing. You'll keep doing this until you eventually see a Lechonk outbreak appear within the area you're standing. It is important to be standing in an area where they actually do spawn to actually increase the spawn rate of that outbreak. Next up is Tarountula and Spidops, and we're going to this exact location in West Province Area 3, just south of the lake area. When we zoom in on the spot, you can see that we are just north of a cliff that is just south of a river that is south of the lake here. And you can see that the cliff is right behind us, and we're going to be using a bug type sandwich to get pack spawns of Spidops and Tarountula. And we're going to be able to picnic reset in this spot. You can get some Scythers here too, but it's not the best place to hunt Scythers. But for Tarountula and Spidops, it's pretty much nearly isolated, and you're going to get 2 to 3 family spawns each time. And the shinies for these are going to be very obvious as they're both going to be red. And our next shiny hunt is going to be Nymble, which is going to be just south of the Ice Ren Shrine onto this mountainous area. And on this mountainous area, you're going to use a bug type sandwich. You're going to stand right where I'm at. So to our right is going to be this big windmill, and we're going to be on the left edge right here. And there's going to be like a little marking in the ground. You want to stand right next to it. And you're going to be able to get 15 Nymble spawns right here. Now, if you don't get the shiny immediately, you're going to want to obviously picnic reset. Move a little bit forward if you get that message, and then you'll be able to reset for 30 minutes within your bug type sandwich, and you'll be good to go with this shiny. The shiny for Nymble is pretty obvious. It's going to be a golden shiny. And these spawns sometimes can take a little bit of time to come in because they are individual spawns, but you'll eventually get it. Now, with a bug type sandwich, we're going to hunt for Lokix at the Mountain Watchtower. And this is going to be a run around hunt. Going to run around this area and eventually get a shiny Lokix. It's the only Pokemon that spawns on this ridge. So we're just going to keep on going until we eventually see this like bright green shiny. And we can keep on going down this hill for a long time. Pretty much I would keep going down here until you stop seeing the Lokix, and then return back to the mountain watchtower, and eventually you'll get your shiny. Our next hunt is Hoppip, and I actually recommend going for Hoppits in catching 3 of them so you can get the living family here. We're going to be going to the Grass Whistle Shrine, which is going to be South Province Area 1. And when you pop a grass type sandwich, you're going to be able to get a bunch of Hoppits, and you just keep picnic resetting until you can actually get that shiny. And once again, I recommend getting 3 here because this is definitely the best spot in the game to be able to get the full living shiny family for Hoppip. Our next hunt is Fletchling. We're going to Grand Olive Orchard. And with a normal type sandwich, we can run around here and have a bunch of Fletchling spawn area. Of course, it's not going to be an isolated hunt, but it does spawn in groups, and the other group spawn that comes out here is going to be Starly. So we're going to have to watch out for some Starlies, but you can also go off this hill here. As long as you're in this dried grass area, you'll be able to get Fletchling spawning. Of course, you can also try to do a mass outbreak to get a Fletchling outbreak if you want to guarantee yourself getting that shiny too. And of course, how to do a mass outbreak is you're going to go zoom out. We're going to go to our home menu, system settings, go all the way down to system, then date and time, and with our sandwich in the right area, reload the area and try to get the Fletchling outbreaks. Unfortunately, we didn't get one, but you're going to keep on doing it until you get a Fletchling outbreak within South Province Area 2. Next up is Flechinder, and the best way to hunt this is just going south of Cassier Lake and pretty much like right across from Watchtower number 1, going across the river here and going to this little part underneath the cliff. And as you can see, we are like right besides the cliff here with a rock wall behind us, and we're just gonna be doing a picnic reset with a fire type sandwich to get this shiny Flechinder. Now the shiny is gonna be sort of pretty obvious to me. It's gonna be completely like orange and red instead of having that gray tone to it. And in this area, you can get about 15 spawns in the general area. You're just gonna have to look to your left and to your right. And I would also suggest going for 2 here to evolve one into Talonflame, as this is going to be a phenomenal spot to go for both. Next up, we're going to go for Pommy and Pomo, just south of the water type gym here, actually doing a town reset here. And at this town reset, we're going to be able to do an electric type sandwich and get 15 brand new spawns. We're going to go into the city and then walk right out, and we're going to do this until we eventually get our shiny. The shinies for Pommy and Pomo are both going to be red, so they're going to be super easy for us to notice. And then you can evolve your shiny Pomo into Palmont by doing the walking steps method. Now our next hunt is shiny Houndour and Houndoom. I recommend doing this during the daytime, as it is not a completely isolated hunt, but during the daytime you do have better odds, and this is going to be a pack spawn. We're going to be going south of the shrine here, and from the shrine we're going to be going right to this little mountain ridge right here. We're going to be looking over this grass area right here, and we're going to be doing a dark type sandwich on top of this ridge. You want to be exactly where I'm at, because when you do it from this spot, you get a full 15 spawns that you can picnic reset for. Like I said, you want to do this during the daytime. However, I was testing the spot out, and I did manage to nail myself a shiny Houndour. And look at this absolute amazing pup. And of course, you can get the shiny Houndoom straight up here as well. And here's the daytime footage. As you can see, we're getting some pack spawns, about 2 to 3 pack spawns of the Houndours and Houndoom. And our next shiny hunt is going to be for shiny Yungoos. And for this, we're going to be going right on top of the cave where we fought the Titan Cloth. And when you're on top of the Titan Cloth ridge, we're going to be doing a normal type sandwich right on this spot. And as you can see, we have a bunch of Yungooses appearing, and we get some spawns towards the bottom of the cave too, right over there, but we're gonna get about 12 spawns over here, and then you can just easily do a picnic reset until you get that shiny Yungoos. Now the shiny Yungoos is gonna be very easy to tell. It's going to be a purple shiny, so you just got to wait for them to spawn in and then eventually do a picnic reset, and hopefully you get that within the 30 minutes. And of course, like I said, don't forget to check over here, because you will get a couple of spawns towards the lower part of the cave too. And don't forget to evolve a Yungoos into Gumshoes. I would recommend getting 2 Yungooses. Evolve one of the Yungooses during the daytime. Next up is Scovet and Greedent, and unfortunately there's no good way to hunt these guys. Even with a normal type sandwich, no way to actually isolate them. So what I would recommend is going with a normal type sandwich in Tag Tree Thicket, or around this area of West Province Area 3, and then doing an outbreak reset by going to System Settings, System, Date and Time, and then just resetting your clock until you eventually get a mass outbreak for the Scovet or a Greedent. Now for Sunkern, which unfortunately is an egg hatch only Pokemon if you want to get the shiny Sunkern. The big issue with Sunkern is it does not appear in mass outbreaks and appears in 2 areas that you cannot isolate hunt it, and there is no group spawns for it. So you're gonna be better off doing a Masuda hunt for Sunkern. Now, if you don't know what Masuda method is, you want to use a Pokemon of a different language to breed with the Sunkern. Easiest would be getting a Masuda Ditto and then going over to the Psychic City gym here. And we're going to be going to this restaurant. We're going to be getting Egg Power level 2. And then we're going to make some eggs with this. And hopefully you get this shiny as soon as possible. Now for Sunflora, which you can either do an outbreak or try to hunt it in North Province Area 3. You want to use a grass type sandwich for this hunt. And the thing is, Sunflora spawns with Hoppits in this area as well, and Fomantis, so it's not isolated. However, if you do a time reset method here to get the outbreak, you can easily get a Sunflora out. Next up is Kricketot and Kricketune, and the best area for this guy without a mass outbreak is going to be at the Bamboo Forest, where the entrance of the Team Star fighting area is. And for this, it's sort of like a ghetto reset. You're just going to go back into here, and then you're going to go back in, all with a bug type sandwich. And you're going to hope you get some Kricketots and Kricketunes. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. And I mean, we got one family there, but otherwise the best way to do this is to mass outbreak hunt these. Next up is Scatterbug and Spupa. So the best way to get Scatterbug is honestly going to be a bug type mass outbreak in the South Messagoza area. But if you want to run around and hunt it, you can run around about from here to here. I wouldn't go anywhere further south. With a bug type sandwich, you will get Tarountula as well, but this is definitely going to be the best spot for their bug that is not a mass outbreak. And the same thing with Spupa. You're going to want to either mass outbreak it or just catch a second Scatterbug and evolve it. Now, Vivillon is a little bit easier than Scatterbug here. Vivillon, if you go to North Province Area 3, you can use a bug type sandwich and try to outbreak reset for a Vivillon outbreak. Or if you go exactly where I'm at right now, which is on the left side of the Team Starbase area in between these 2 rocks, you can actually do a reset and you will be getting Vespiquens, Combees, and the Vivillons. But it's pretty decent. Usually get about 5 of them. Sometimes you can get more, but it's a pretty good spot. But otherwise, I would do this as a mass outbreak. Next up is the best spot for Combee and Vespiquen. And we're going to be doing a town reset with a bug type sandwich. And we're going to be going to the bug gym area right outside of the Pokemon Center. And in this area, if you do a bug type sandwich and do a town reset, which all you got to do is touch this Pokemon Center pad and walk back out, you will probably get about 2 to 3 clusters of Combee. Sometimes you get more Kricketunes, or Kricketots, I mean. And it's pretty easy to hunt. The hard part is going to be getting a female Combee to get that shiny Vespiquen. But you can always do a mass outbreak for Vespiquen if you're really having difficulty with getting a Combee, and you can do it in this area as well. Next up is the Rookity family line, and I like to hunt for Rookity right above where you fight the Titan Cloth. So pretty much just west of the Art Zone area and just right where you start seeing the Cloths. You want to go on top of this mountain ridge, and then you'll see a bunch of Ricketies here with a flying type sandwich. To note, you'll probably get about 10, 12 up here, but if you pan the camera over a little bit, you can see a couple Rookities to the front as well. So you want to make sure when you're doing your picnic reset that you are getting the Rookities right in front of you and also behind you. And just also make sure that you go a little bit far back so you can do the picnic reset. And like I said, you probably are best off getting your 3 shiny Rookities just from this spot instead of trying to do a mass outbreak, because this is just me easier to do. But if you get a mass outbreak, that's another viable method as well. Next up is the baby Pokemon Happiny, and Happiny is a very hard Pokemon to isolate shiny hunt. However, there is a perfect spot. So right where you fought the Flying Titan, we're going to go up here, and you want to be right in between this point where you see the brown and the green grass. And we're going to do a normal type sandwich here. And you can see that there's some flowers in the back right here where the Happinis are. That's where they're spawning from. And you pretty much just want to keep picnic resetting until you eventually see your shiny. The shiny is like purplish, but it can be a little bit hard to see. So I do recommend maybe walking up and checking on them if you're having some difficulty. But it's the only Pokemon that spawns on this one flower patch. So this is a phenomenal reset point, and good luck on this hunt. Now, you shouldn't evolve your Happiny, and instead shiny hunt for a Chansey by itself, and you can do this North Province Area 3 right in between these two rocks with a normal type sandwich. And as you can see, you're gonna get a lot of spawns, and all you gotta do is picnic reset right at this point. You just want to be at the edge point between these two pieces of rock, and then set up your normal type sandwich and just do a picnic reset, and you'll be able to get your shiny green eggs and ham. And of course, I would recommend evolving your Chansey into a shiny Blissey. That's gonna be the easiest way to get Blissey too. Next up to Zero, another baby Pokemon, and with this one, I like being at Los Platos right at this pond here with a fairy type sandwich, as you can easily isolate shiny hunt for them here. And you can like go around it and see if you see the shiny green orb. And of course, once you go around it and see all the spawns, you can do a picnic reset and just keep doing that until you eventually get your shiny. Next up is a Marrow and a Azumarill, and these are very easy. Just south around Castleroy Lake. If you go to Castleroy Watchtower 2, you can easily do a picnic reset with a fairy type sandwich right here on the cliffside, and you'll be able to get these. Of course, if you don't want to do a picnic reset, you can easily just run around and you'll be getting them all in cluster spawns. So you can run around, picnic reset. This one's gonna be super easy to get the shiny bunny. Next up is Surskit, and I recommend catching 2 Surskits, one to evolve into Masquerain. And I'm at Mexico's South, right on this part right here, looking over at the river with a bug type sandwich. You get a good amount of Surskits. Now, you can't really do a picnic reset down there, so you sort of just got to run up this hill and then run back down this hill to get the Surskits to spawn, and just wait for them to spawn in. You can get about 10 to 15 of the spawns coming in, and as you see, they pop in, and you know, they come in from your left and your right, so you want to make sure you pan around, and eventually you'll get your shiny. Next up is Weasel and Floatzel, and we're going to be going North Province Area 1 Watchtower, just north of this to this little island here. Now, there is going to be a Terra Electros you want to knock out, but if you stand on this beach right over where I'm at and you do a water type sandwich, you can just easily refresh the spawns here by doing a picnic resets. The only water types that spawn is going to be a Weasel cluster that has Floatzel, and you're also going to get some Pelipper. Sometimes you get all 3 clusters. Sometimes you get 2 clusters and 5 Pelipper. Next up is Paldean, Wooper, and Clodsire. So you're going to fly over to the normal type gym, and we're going to go over to this pond here. We're going to be using a poison type sandwich. Now, on the very edge of this pond, you can actually do a picnic reset method with a poison type sandwich, and you get 2 clusters. Sometimes you get a 3rd cluster if you do it right about over here. Your positioning is pretty important, but use a position that makes you feel the most comfortable. Next up is Psyduck and Golduck, and I do recommend using a level 2 water encounter sandwich or level 3, because Psyduck, the best method is always going to be a mass outbreak. There's just no way to isolate this Pokemon in the game at the moment. But for Golduck, if you want to get Golduck and isolate it, the best method is go to Fury Falls right over here, and then go to exactly where I'm at. And in Pokemon Scarlet with a water type sandwich, you can very easily get Golduck here. You can see 15 spawns, and you can pretty much reset it by doing a picnic reset, or you can like walk away and walk back. That could be faster for some people as well, as you can get your full 15 spawns too. Next up is Choodle and Dreadnought, and this one's pretty easy with picnic reset. We're gonna be using a rock type sandwich, and you can do it pretty much anywhere around the lake, but for example, we're gonna be Watchtower number 2, and you can see that we're having Dreadnought and Choodle spawn around. Now, it's important to note that Dreadnought is a rock type, but Choodle is not a rock type. But because you are getting so many Choodle spawns, and it's going to be able to isolate the spawns here with a rock type sandwich, it's still a really good way to hunt for shiny Choodle, but definitely for shiny Dreadnought, of course. Now, the best spot for Igglybuff is just going to be just south of Los Platos here, right within this region, and we're going to be using a normal type sandwich. You can use a fairy type sandwich too, but you may get some Fidos. Now, the hard part about this Pokemon is obviously telling if it's shiny or not, and I actually just recommend with the sandwich just auto battling every single Pokemon. You can also do a reset method here, or you can try to get a mass outbreak in this location and then try to do the mass outbreak method and having the Iggly spawns to further increase your shiny odds. Now for Jiggly, which I would recommend using a fairy type sandwich for, we're going to be town resetting at the bug type gym here, and it's gonna be very simple. You're gonna get a couple other fairies, but you also get Iggly here, so you can technically do both Iggly and Jiggly here, but it's a pretty good town reset. You get your spawns in pretty quickly, you go out a little bit, and you have a good amount of Jigglypuffs and Igglybuffs both spawning in as well. And I would actually recommend going for 2 Jigglypuffs here instead of trying to get a Wigglytuff by itself. this method is just gonna be a lot easier. And the shiny for it is sort of obvious. Look at the eyes, and the eyes will be green, and that's how you know you got your shiny. Now, the best place for Ralts is gonna be making a fairy type sandwich during the daytime. And we're gonna be going over to the mountains grass area, pretty much right where I'm at, right here at the edge of the grass. You're gonna do a picnic reset, and you'll be able to get a nice 15 spawns here. Of course, you can potentially get yourself a shiny Gardevoir too. And of course, any male Ralts you catch can be evolved into a shiny Gallade as well. Now, if you just want Kirlia, you got to use a fairy type sandwich during the day. And we're going to Lavencia to do a town reset. And right on the edge of Lavencia South, where the town resets right here, you're going to be able to get 15 spawns of Kirlia. And this one's a really nice town reset. So you can just go in and out and in and out. And of course, if you get a male Kirlia, you can turn that into a Gallade as well, or just evolve it into a Gardevoir. Next up is Drowsy, and we're gonna be hunting for 2 Drowsies, involving one in Hypno with a Psychic type sandwich by going over to the Grass Wither Shrine down here into the ruins. And with a Psychic type sandwich, we can easily isolate shiny hunt for Drowsy. Now for this one, you're gonna want to jump above and look above the ruins, and then picnic reset. And do that about every time, because you're going to get spawns to the ruins to your left and in front of you. And this is the only way to see all 15. Other locations in this area won't get you to 15 spawns, so that's going to be pretty important to do. Next up is Ghastly and Haunter. And we're going to go into a North Zapapico here with a poison type sandwich. And we're going to do a nice town reset right here. We're going to be able to get 15 spawns. And it's going to be pretty easy to tell the shiny Ghastly. For the Haunter, you're going to have to look at the tongue. But should be a fast and easy shiny hunt with a poison type sandwich. And I do believe you got to do this at nighttime as well. Next up is Tandemaus. And unfortunately, there is not a good location to hunt this thing. I recommend making a level 2 or level 3 sandwich and trying to get a Tandemaus outbreak by standing either right outside here or by the normal type gym area as well. Or you can try around Artezone and keep resetting with a normal type sandwich and eventually get a mass outbreak for the Tandemaus line. Next up is Pichu. I'm going to be using an electric type sandwich just north of Los Platos within this area. So pretty much this area in between the roads here and just underneath this pond is the area where Pichu will spawn with an electric type sandwich. Now, I do recommend running around and looking. The Pichu will be like a different color of yellow. So it's going to be a little bit obvious. And of course, there's a town reset here. So instead of trying to do a picnic reset, you just walk into the town, walk right back out, and then you'll be good to go on this shiny Pichu hunt. Next up is Pikachu, and I recommend getting 2 Pikachus to evolve one into Raichu. Pikachu, we're going to go to Artezone East, and we're going to be doing an electric type sandwich. And if you put yourself right on the road right here, you can pretty much do a town reset for shiny Pikachu. As you can see, we're going to go down and go over here. And then we're going to get some more Pikachu spawning in. And this is going to be a fast and easy hunt. Fast enough for you to get 2 Pikachus and evolve one to Raichu. Next up is Fido and Dachshund. And we're going to be at the normal type city gym here with a fairy type sandwich. And you can actually get cluster spawns of Fido and Dachshund here. And of course, you get some other spawns too. You can do this as a town reset, of course, which is always very nice. And you can do this all around the city. So if you just find a location that you like that's getting more spawns, then just go for it. But there you go. It's going to be a super easy shiny hunt. Next up is the Slack Off line. And unfortunately, there's really not a good place to hunt any of them. Slack Off, it appears in trees, but you're best off doing a mass outbreak within South Province Area 5. And I would recommend catching 3 there, 1 for Vigoroth and 1 for Slaking as well. Next up is Bounsweet, and as you can see, we got an AFK shiny hunt here, which is pretty freaking phenomenal. And the beauty of this spot is it's super easy to get shiny Bounsweet, and we're going to be using a grass type sandwich. So how to set this up is, one, we're going to be just north of Los Platos here at this exact spot, and you're going to need a tall auto battle Pokemon like I have with Walking Wake, or you can use any other tall Pokemon, of course, with a grass type sandwich. So what we're going to do is we need to knock down the Bounsweets from this tree. So we're going to run up, hit the tree, make sure you get the headbutt animation, and now that the Pokemon have fallen off, you want to throw your auto battle Pokemon out, and it's going to attack them. And now you're going to walk back a little bit, and you're just going to stay here. And the Walking Wake, in this case, is going to destroy the Bounsweets. And now you're going to notice how the Bounsweets are going to be falling down. And they're going to be falling down forever until a shiny appears. When a shiny appears, an auto battle Pokemon cannot destroy it, which means when you don't hear the attack animation go off, you pretty much got your shiny. So this is pretty much an AFK shiny hunt. It's phenomenal. You could definitely use this spot to get all 3 of the living family. Now for Sneeny, we're going to be using a grass type sandwich just right outside of Artizone East. And with a grass type sandwich, you can actually isolate shiny hunt this by doing a town reset method. Just go into the town, go right to the edge of the road here, and the sneeze will be back, and the shiny is pretty obvious. Now for the small family line, I'm going to recommend doing a town reset at the bug type city gym with a grass type sandwich, and we're just going to town reset for small of the spawning clusters over here. Very easy just to run to the Pokemon Center pad, run back out, and get new clusters with this town reset, and hopefully get your shiny Smoliv fast. Bonsly can be best hunted just north of Los Platos within this area that is just south of the pool in between the 2 roads here for rock type sandwich. And you're just gonna get a lot of Bonsly spawning. The shiny's obvious being red. Super easy, and of course when you see all the Bonslys here, just go down to the town, get that town reset, come right back up, and you should get this shiny fast and easy. Next up is Sudowoodo for rock type sandwich, and we're going right over here just south of the watchtower number 2 at the lake, so into this little crevice right here. And for rock type sandwich, you're going to be getting exclusively Sudowoodos here that you can picnic reset for. And you know, if you are a little bit too close to the wall like I am, just going to make sure you're a little bit further out, and then you can just do a picnic reset here. Now the cool thing about Sudowoodo is if it is raining, the Sudowoodos will despawn themselves. However, a shiny will not despawn themselves, so keep that in mind while you're doing this. Maybe we get lucky and get some rain going on. The best place to hunt Rockruff is going to be right on this area just south of the Ice Wren Shrine. And there is going to be a Terra Jolteon right here that you're going to want to knock out. And your positioning matters a lot. You're going to want to be right to the right of this windmill on the edge, and pretty much just giving you a good example of where I'm at. I'm like a little bit above this crescent line on the bottom right next to my camera. And you're going to be able to do a picnic reset with a rock type sandwich here. You will get all 15 spawns, and the shiny is very obvious. The spawns do come in a little bit slow to keep in mind, but you will get a full 15 from this spot. Now, the best place for a Lycanroc is going to be North Province Area 1. I consider this a run-around hunt or a mass outbreak with a rock-type sandwich. And with this guy, well, one, we have a shiny right here, which is pretty freaking phenomenal. Lycanroc's form is going to be based on the time of day. So currently it's daytime, so this shiny is going to be a midday. But if you're playing at nighttime, you get that nighttime form. And if you're playing at dusk, which is only 3 minutes during the day, you can get the dusk form. Now, if I wanted to, I could reset my game and mess around with the timer and save my game here. And then you can change the forms of these Lycanrocs as well. But in general, you just run around this whole area spanning from here to around here for rock type sandwich, and you'll pretty much only be getting Lycanroc spawns based on your time of day. Absolutely beautiful. Roly-Coly and Carkol can be caught with a town reset by using a rock type sandwich at the Zapico East Pokemon Center. This is very simple. We're just going to walk into the town, walk right back out, and you should get 2 to 3 clusters depending on your spawns. If you're in Scarlet, you will get some Larvitar spawning in as well, but still is going to be a fantastic fast spot. Or you can just run around the desert as well if you don't do a town reset to hunt these guys. Now, the best place to shiny hunt for Shinx and Luxray is going to be the Bamboo Forest with an electric type sandwich. As you can see, there's a lot of Pokemon, and I have already gotten my shiny. You'll get cluster spawns for Shinx with Luxray, but also individual Luxrays as well. So this spot is going to be pretty phenomenal overall. And look at this absolutely beautiful shiny we got within the first second of this hunt. Now, you can also picnic reset for Shinx here by going to this rock in the Bamboo Forest, which is right here. So going to Fury Falls, you just hug the left wall until you come to this spot right here, and you can actually sit on this rock and do a picnic reset and refresh these spawns, and you'll get 15 spawns right here. Next up is Starly. I'm going to be using a normal type sandwich around the Grand Olive Orchard, and this is going to be a run around hunt. And the only unfortunate thing is you can't isolate it. You will get Fletchlings as well by doing this. So I do suggest getting a mass outbreak by using a normal type sandwich and resetting this area, but you will find Starlies located around here. The best place to start our Avia hunt is going to be right here next to Porto on the cliff side, and we're doing a town reset with a flying type sandwich. Now, you got to make sure it is also a daytime to do the shiny hunt, because when it is nighttime, you will not be able to get Star Avias or any of the Pokemon in this line. And we're right on this cliff right here. Essentially, we're just going to touch the cliff. It's going to say we're in Porto. Make sure not to fall off like I did. Walk back onto the grass. It's going to say your West Province area 2. The spawns are going to come in, and here is a pretty secretive reset. However, like I said, once it is nighttime, you will be getting Murkrow, so make sure it is daytime to do this hunt. And for Staraptor, we're going to be going back to the normal type sandwich, and we're going to be right at the watchtower number 3 at the lake. And with the normal type sandwich, you just want to go right behind the tower, about to this wall here where that rock is over here, and you're gonna be able to get 15 spawns by doing a picnic reset right here. Just make sure your positioning is right so you can actually get that picnic reset going. If you're too close to the wall, it won't end up working. You can tell the shiny because of the mohawk is blue instead of red. And of course, this only works during the daytime. Next up is Oricorio, and we're going to be using a fire type sandwich just north of Artezone here on the cliff side. And with fire type sandwich, you can isolate shiny hunt for Oricorio by doing a town reset method. So you want to be right next to this Sunflora that's on the town. And then you're going to go back until you see the town name, and then you're going to jump back up, and then you get a brand new 15 spawns. The shiny is going to be black for this, which is going to be very obvious. And if you didn't know, you can change the shiny form of your Oricorio, or just the form in general, by using the different nectar items that you can buy in Mesagoza, so you can get all 4 forms of Oricorio easily in this one location. And there we have it. Those are the first 100 shiny Pokemon locations for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Come back soon for parts 2, 3, and 4, where we cover the other 300 Pokemon. And of course, guys, if you like this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and support the channel by joining the Pan Fam today by hitting that join channel button below. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.